Good morning or afternoon, depending on what part of the country you're in. Welcome to today's call. This is Workman, Coach Verl, Big V. I am fired up today. I woke up in a great mood this morning after actually having a good night's sleep. That doesn't happen all the time because my crazy mind is going a million miles an hour, thinking about all the work we have to do and all of the great things that are coming down the pipeline. I want to let you know how much I appreciate y'all for being on the call. We have a great group on the call today, and the number is growing fast. And I think a lot of it is because of our guest. We have an amazing guest with us today, Christy, and I'll introduce her in just a second. And we're going to share with you some things that you can do to make a difference in the lives of your clients. You know, creating amazing client experiences is so critical. It's not just one of our core values. It's what makes the world go around. If you do the right things for your clients and you create amazing experiences and you build this tribe, then the money always takes care of itself. And so if you're looking to grow and really grow, I want you to listen carefully to the systems and processes that Christy uses on her team. Some of the things she learned in coaching, some of the things they've developed on their own. The bottom line is that she's a doer, and I love surrounding myself with people that are just great doers. I'm also going to encourage you to stay on till the very end. On the very last slide, I'm going to give you a landing page, and then that landing page is where you'll have a bunch of downloads. And Christy and Samantha have been very generous, and they've given us some very some great downloads with some great details. So as we're talking about things today, you're going to go, oh crap, I want that. It's probably going to be on the download page. So I encourage you to stay and be there for that. Let me just take a second and introduce the amazing Christy Buck. For those of you who haven't been on a call with Christy Buck in the past, you may have heard me talk about her at a seminar or at an event. Christy has been a client of mine for, I don't know, since 2012. And I met her at a seminar where she came up afterwards and said, I need you to coach me. I told her, no, I'm not taking on any clients. And she says, you know, you don't understand. You need to be my coach. And so we had some dialogue and went back and forth, and we started working together in 2012. And what she has built is nothing short of incredible. It's been an honor for me to have been able to work with Christy as she's grown her business from a small single agent with an assistant to, an amazing team. And I'll let Christy tell you a little bit about that journey and how she's gone through some of the processes to get where she is today. Christy is in a place called Pearland, Texas. It sounds much cooler when she says it. She's a great mom, and she's a great team leader, and she really does care about the difference she makes in not only the lives of her team members, but also in the lives of the clients that she serves. Christy's running a big 7-figure team, and she's doing a great job, and it's fun to watch her continue to grow. Christy, thank you for being here, and welcome to the call.
Thank you.
And so, Christy, let's just, I love this Christy Buck quote. This has come from your assessment in 2012, and it says, tell me about what you do. And you said, I have no tracking or systems. Tell us more about that.
Well,
let me share my screen. Hold on, Christy. I'm sure this is a great slide, and it's even better if you can see it. There you go.
Yes. So when we, 4 years ago, I've been in the business 18 years, and all the way until 4 years ago, we really didn't have a CRM, and we had no systems. Everything we did was pretty much just flying by the seat of our pants and going off of memory. I think we still did an excellent job. However, we didn't have the ability to grow, and we had a lot of lost opportunity because we didn't have any systems or any tracking. Our leads were on Post-it notes, spirals, and there was no follow-up. So now,
so talk about your goals. Where did you want to go? So I have a goal sheet up here that talks about where you wanted to go, if you can see my screen.
Yes. So we wanted to be the top 5 in the office we were in at that time. We had files. We wanted to be paperless. We needed a CRM. We didn't have a CRM at all, much less did it run correctly. We wanted in 1 year to change our production, which was pretty consistent at 250, around 60 transactions a year. We hoped to go to 350 in 1 year. I wanted to spend more time with my kids, I was always with them, but I wasn't present. And I'm sure a lot of agents can relate to that. You're with them, but you're always on the phone or, paying attention to everything else while they're just in your presence. And we needed systems just so that we could reach out to people and not lose all the opportunities that were coming in. So we were able to accomplish all of that and much quicker than the first year.
So when you say you're at the same level for several years in a row, what do you believe was the reason you were stuck?
Well, because we were doing the same thing every year that we did the year before, and we didn't have any systems, we didn't have any processes, and we essentially didn't know what else to do other than, we were good producers in our area, but I knew there was many more levels to get to. So we just didn't really know how to put the systems in place, how to put the processes in place, how to hire. Definitely had the problem thinking no one could do it as well as we could, or well as I could. So the delegation and having buyer's agents and listing agents, all that was just way out of my comfort zone, thinking that you could run a company that you weren't the one doing everything in it.
Yeah, I think that's a whole different mindset. I just want to check on the webinar real quick and make sure it's working for everybody. I've got a couple of people popping in comments saying that they're not seeing it. All right, so we're just making sure that we're running correct. Well, this is a good-looking team, Christy. I clearly can't be on your team because I don't fit. I just don't look good in black.
We have a lot of ladies on the team.
And so tell us what your team looks like today. Give me a little bit of a snapshot of who you have. And, when we talk about systems, and we can get into a lot of stuff, I really want to get right to into making a difference, right? Into making a difference with client relationships and really making a difference there. But just kind of tell us what your team looks like today. Give me a snapshot.
Okay, so we have our office manager of 10 years, Samantha and me. It was us working alone. And now we have 7 buyer's agents, 2 listing partners, a social media person, a listing support staff, an office runner, a commercial agent, a transaction coordinator, and of course a bookkeeper. I believe we covered everyone. Oh, and an ISA, and 1 ISA. We need another ISA. So the picture we have up here is a bit outdated. We've definitely added several people since this picture, but that's our operations. That's how we function every day with. And when we had to get the first buyer's agent, that was really more than what I thought would work, and we have 7.
And talk about what your growth looked like. I know you wanted to go from 250 to 350. Here's the slide that kind of talks about where you've been.
Yeah, so the first year we were always at 250. We went the first year from 250, we're missing one in here, 250 to 574 in 1 year. And then the next year was 720. The next year was 1.2 million. And last year was 2.2 million in GCI. However, I must say, yeah,
go ahead.
That even doing all of that business, I 100% bought my life back. I don't work evenings, I don't work weekends, and I spent the last few years actually being with my family rather than just being with them and not being present.
And so this is a question you didn't know I was going to ask, is what's next for the Christy Buck team? I mean, you've got a great business running. What's next on the horizon for you? Where do you see yourself next year?
Well, our goal next year is, we did 325 units last year, and our goal next year is for 2018, 400. However, we have our stretch goal and our dream goal. So 500 is really what we're shooting for as far as transactions. And we were at 60 transactions 4 years ago. So hoping to hit 500 in 2018.
And tell me about the new big project you just undertaken.
So I just bought an old bank, a Wells Fargo building that vacated and relocated. It's a 4,300 square foot building, and I'm adding on 5,000 square feet. I'll have 2,000 square feet that I will lease out to my title company and 2,000 square feet to my mortgage company. And then my company will take 5,300 square feet, where much of my team will be in probably about 4,000 square feet. And then we're going to open probably the brokerage side. Right now, I'm just a team company, and we're looking at the brokerage side. So we'll have 1,000 square feet for the agents that come and go on the brokerage side. So we're going to have almost a 10,000 square foot building in the next 8 months that we've purchased and that we are going to move into. So that's super exciting when I didn't even feel like I could afford coaching 4 years ago.
Well, it's been fun to watch you grow, and it's fun to go through this whole process. You know, one of the things that people, I have a lot of people say I want to be like Christy Buck, is because they hear your story and they hear, you know, I use you as a poster child, and as I share your example. But one of the things I think that we fail to tell people is how hard it is. I mean, is it really easy? Does everybody do what you ask them to do, and everybody shows up for their huddles, and we always do their daily success habits?
It's not really easy, and we've built a culture of, you know, doing very well with huddles and daily success habits. However, no, it's not easy. It's hard work. Every time we hang up the phone, when we're coaching, we go quickly to work on all of our activities, and we really time manage to make sure that happens so that we don't just hang up and go back to our normal firefighting life that agents do.
Yeah, and so, you know, I want everybody to know, as we're talking to Christy today, that she's had amazing growth, but the growth isn't accidental. I mean, it's hard work. I think one of the mistakes that people make when they come into coaching or they join our family is they think that there's some kind of a magic pill, and if you take this magic pill, everything's going to turn out great. Have you made some bad hires and had to replace some people?
Absolutely. We've made bad hires, had to train, you know, the same position over and over, and we've made all the mistakes. We're definitely not perfect. We've made the mistakes everybody made, you know, but we never quit, and we never quit trying to, you know, get where we know we want to be, and it pays off. But yes, it's very hard work.
Hey, by the way, where are you in rankings now in your market?
Well, actually, I pulled ranking reports last night, and we're still #1 in Peoria County and in our county for listings and for buyers and for both sides.
And that's got to make you feel great, right?
Yeah, it really does, especially when we look at only having 7 agents, just to see that we're so much more productive than the companies that are big franchises that have hundreds of agents, and, you know, they have great numbers. However, they have hundreds of agents, you know, and so we're just extremely productive team by being very intentional with what we do every day.
So, Christy, we took over the last year, we've been working really hard as a company to develop a new program that just launched, and we haven't even told all of our clients about it yet. But in all of their Workman learning centers, there's a new program called SLAM. It stands for Seller Listing Agent Mastery. And in the Seller Listing Agent Mastery, we combined content from the Christy Buck team and several other really highly productive teams that list and sell a lot of houses, and we built a program called Listing Agent Mastery, and it's phenomenal. And a lot of the content you see in there is, you know, what we do and how we go out and go after generating listings. And part of creating great client experiences is the way that you brand and the way that you look and what you present when you're in front of a client. Would you mind taking us through this package real quick as we kind of go kind of page to page? You'll recognize all of the slides in here.
Okay.
And so this is a pre-listing package, and, you know, nobody does a better job than you at selling the team. And so this is an example that that is there for everybody. Talk to me about selling the individual, you know, selling against an individual agent versus selling the team, and how you do that.
So the way that I sell the team is sorry, my screen just went down. Samantha's working on it. So when I go on a listing appointment and I show them, of course, my ranking reports, and then I explain to them our team is #1 in Brazoria County. And let me explain to you why I created a team. If I am an agent that works by themselves, I would be sitting in here and all of the leads would be going to my voicemail. So those are lost opportunities. So I created a team where when we get calls, whether it's off of a sign, whether it's off the internet, wherever it may be, that we are going to have one, and I show them a pamphlet that shows all of my buyer's agents. One of these people will be answering the phone and creating an opportunity to show your home, whereas an agent that works alone is going to lose all of those opportunities. Then once your file, I'm sorry, my screen's messing up, so I was being distracted. So
okay.
All of those opportunities are created rather than lost. And we have a listing specialist that all they're focusing on is your home. They don't leave here and get distracted out in the fields with buyers. And all the buyers are very knowledgeable about the inventory. So as we list your home, you will be assigned to one of these buyer's agents, and they're very knowledgeable. They're out in the field all day long. So they're an expert on what you're looking for. The listing team stays in the office focused on getting your home promoted and listed. Once you go under contract, we have a transaction coordinator. There's so many dates in a contract that most agents don't keep up with. However, they're very important dates that if we do not keep up with them, then we could be in breach of contract, me or you. And I kind of go over those dates with them, from walkthroughs to closings, appraisals, inspections, delivery dates on surveys. And I show them just kind of a highlight on all the dates that we do have to keep up with. So I let them know Susan will be reaching out to you as soon as we go under contract, introducing herself, and she will be in touch with you from contract to close. So I'm setting up the groundwork that, you know, your agent will be on to doing other things, and you're going to have somebody working full time to help make sure that we dot all of our I's and cross our T's through the contract. And then I'll let them know that we have Claudia that will be boosting them full time, and I show them a sheet of paper that shows them everywhere that she's working on the social media, from Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, landing pages, everything that she's doing full time. And then, you know, Bryn, that's going to help support the listing agents with feedback and so forth. So when I show them that and I let them know, you don't have to deal with all 17 people on this pamphlet, but this is how many people I have working behind the scenes and on the forefront to help you sell your home and help you find the right home. So working with the same person on all of this isn't going to provide you the same level of customer service that we're going to provide you with these team members working full time to make sure it's all done correctly.
You know, I love that, and it's so clear that when you describe it that way, you know, when a lot of agents sell against teams, Christy, and they say, well, you never get to talk to Christy Buck, you always talk to her team members, and you don't get the same level of service. I do it all because I'm involved in everything. You get a higher level of attention to detail. How do you respond to that?
Well, after what I just explained to you on all of these things, how can that person do everything to the same level of customer service that I'm going to do if they're out showing houses and listing houses and worrying about photos and worrying about the, you know, ProQuest flyers and doing all the things that I'm going to do? It's impossible unless they have 1 or 2 listings, and then I would question, you know, why they only have 1 or 2 listings. You know, that they're going to be able to provide the same level of customer service. So one agent, it's impossible for them to do those things. And I'm always here if you need, you know, and if I'm not on the listing appointment, the agents are very good about still continuing to sell my name and the brands that they're here and work on this team because they know the name we've built in the community, and they do not hesitate to tell them, if you ever want Christy, or once we find a house that you like, she'll be happy to come back and look at it. She'll be happy to talk to you. But they build trust with that agent because my agents are so good and so well trained. They really, I guess something you taught me in the very beginning when I said everybody wants me, they don't want you. They want a house, and they heard about you. So if they know that you trained the person that you're sending out to them, they develop that relationship with that agent immediately, but the agent lets them know I'm always here if they need me or want me or have additional questions.
I love that. Let's jump into, if we can, for just a minute. I skipped a couple of slides, but let's jump into premium marketing and what that means. What are you giving your clients, and what do we give our clients that's unique from a marketing perspective? And as we look at the slides, get into photography. How important is professional photography?
That's somewhere we'd never ever cut corners. It's very important. That's where everybody, of course, decides if they're even going to come to the home. But if we do the, if it's pools or on lakes, of course, we do the twilight photos and make sure that the house is top as the ones on the screens now. But photography is everything. And even if it's $100,000 listing, it doesn't matter how low the listing is, we still give every customer the same level of marketing. So we still hire a professional photographer on every listing.
Sorry, how about virtual tours and walkthroughs? Here's an example of a virtual walkthrough of a home.
So yeah, we do the Zillow, when we list it, they do a virtual tour of a coming soon on Zillow, and then our photographer will do virtual tours as well. And then, yeah, we load it everywhere as well with our virtual tours.
I think, some people want to see video, some people want to see still pictures, and we have to give them what they want and give them options. This is one of the listings that we did. This is called a Matterport. I don't know if you've ever played with one of these, but that literally allows you to have a virtual walk through the entire home. You talked about having a social media person coming on board, a social media person that does stuff for you. Talk to me a little bit about that, what you do in social media.
So social media, Claudia does all of our social media, and she builds the landing pages, which really drives a ton of free, I'll say free other than what we pay her. But, I think so many agents now are just spending ridiculous money on bought leads, and we do a lot of bought leads. However, when Claudia's building her landing pages as well as subdivision videos, she goes out and actually drives and does a subdivision video. When she promotes all of these things, you can watch the traffic just increase. Our agents will say, y'all must have built a lot of pages because the phones are blowing up. So those are all free leads that we have her doing, and she's posting them everywhere. Like I said, as crazy as it may sound, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, every possible social media that there is, that's what she does. And it's part of her action plan on every single listing that comes in. She builds the ProQuest flyers. So we have a full-time person building all of these things for our listings. However, it's not a high salary because you're most knowledgeable on all of these are our young kids. She goes to college at night, so it's a perfect job for her, and it's not a high paid position. And the traffic that she brings to our listings and our buyer's agents it's essentially free minus her $13 an hour salary, so
that's a position people don't even consider.
Yeah, and if you think she drives way more than one deal a month to the team, right? So she pays for her position over and over.
So you've mentioned a couple times ProQuest. Talk a little bit about what that means and the call capture IVR system and the way you follow it. This is all part of you're seeing a premium marketing plan. So I'm taking you through the generic version that we have that everybody has access to if you're in the SLAM program or in the Workman System Training Center. By the way, this is a cheap program and it's not the focus of the call, but I just want you to know that as I'm taking you through stuff as she's talking about it, this is a templated version that you go in and, create your own content from. So we've taken Christy stuff and we've workmanized it, made it simple so anybody can go in and make it theirs. So let's talk about IVR for just a second, and how that, and why is that a better client experience, and how do you use it, and what's the value of it?
Well, because so many, I mean, I know flyers kind of disappeared for a while and a lot of agents don't do them. However, they call the number. So we create the flyer on the front, which is the subject property, and then they call the number for more information. So the flyer gives them very limited information. And when they call the number for additional information, it rings to all 7 of my buyer's agents at the same time. So when they see that 800 call coming in, the consumer's not expecting a human. They're just thinking they're calling for a price and additional information. But the phone gets answered and we get to capture their phone number where they're calling from. So if they hang up, we still get to text them back and say, we see you were sitting in front of this house. We're here to answer your questions. But usually they're still on the other line, and then we create that opportunity, that another whole created opportunity on all of our listings. On the back of it is all of our other listings. So it creates the opportunity for us to get maximum exposure on all of our listings, as, you know, unless a seller doesn't want it. But, you know, sometimes we've heard, well, we don't want all the other listings on this flyer, until we tell them, well, but you're on all of theirs. They're like, oh, okay, well, I'm on, 50 other houses as well. So then they understand, what it's all about. And some of our biggest leads and closings have been off of our call capture, and it's so inexpensive.
Do you use a pre-appointment package prior to your listings?
Yes. Before we ever go out, we send the pre-listing packet and just tell them to start working on it. It shows, for us, it saves time on the appointment because they're already filling out seller's disclosure, mortgage payoff, a list of improvements on their house, everything we send them in advance. And when I get there, or my listing agents get there, then all we're really going over is listing agreement and comps. But when we're competing with other agents, we look super efficient, that we're already preparing for them to get everything done. They appreciate it.
So I want to jump into, so you're doing a great job of capturing the client. We've shown a little bit of listing stuff, because I just want people to understand that if when you do client experiences, you first have to have clients. And all of the systems and process that lead up to building the clients is what creates the is what creates the amazing, unbelievable experiences. So I want to jump right in and start talking about some of the things that you do to create these incredible client experiences. And let's talk a little bit about, I'm going to skip through a couple of slides here real quick. This is all part of what's called a pre-listing package, and it's a complete seller's guide. It's all the things you talk about that go out prior to the listing, and I want to make that available to everybody, and so you can have access to it. It's meeting the team. But let's jump into, I'm going to, a couple more clicks right here, and I'll be into client events. And so I want to talk now and spend the rest of our time on this call talking about some of the things that you do as a team. And I'd like to actually spend quite a bit of detailed time talking about really building community. One of the things that I notice when I'm with your team, or when we're in Texas together, is I notice that people love you, and you're not just selling houses, but you're absolutely involved in a lot of things outside of just selling real estate. Talk about why you do that and what the benefit is, and let's go through and talk about some of these events.
Okay, so our philosophy is our relationship doesn't end at the closing table, it starts at the closing table. So of course we've spent a couple of months providing exceptional customer service throughout the process. However, many people say, never heard from my agent and don't remember who they were, right, after the transaction. So we have several events a year that we stay involved. Actually, I went on a listing this year that said, we used you because our friend so-and-so used you, and we want to be able to do the Easter egg hunt with them, and we want to be able to do pictures with Santa and all the same things that they get invited to do now. So I thought that was interesting, that we were getting a listing appointment because they wanted to be involved with all of our activities. So every year we do 1 or 2 client appreciation parties, and that is pretty wide open to past clients, future clients, prospects, and that's a huge event. So I don't know how much you want me to go into those events, Pearl.
No, I think we should talk about it. Let's go through them. We have some slides, Christy, on the booing event and some other things where we get into details. But give an overview of each of the events that's on our screen right here, and just kind of talk about Easter egging and the Easter egg hunt, the difference between the events, and how you get people to come. What does it look like?
Okay, so we send out the e-bites in our email to every, like I said, past clients, future clients, prospects. So it's not just past clients. We're trying to, create those relationships with future potential clients. And so client appreciation, we have a band, and I pay for all the appetizers. We usually have beer, regular beverages, whatever they want. Everybody doesn't drink alcohol, that's fine, but it's there, and it's a big band. It's a restaurant with a big outdoor patio, and we had standing room only last time. We have to find somewhere else to have it now. So they get to come out, eat, drink, listen to music, and all of our agents are out networking with their past clients. Now, we've learned from our mistakes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, sorry if I interrupt you, but one of the things that I think about is I don't have a huge team. Can I start small in doing a client event? I mean, how big does it have to be to make it look like you're not, a mom and pop shop? If I can only get 10 people show up, how do you hold that kind of a client appreciation event and have it be valuable?
Out in a smaller venue where it's not that, we don't have to have a live band. We can start out just having appetizers and networking and do it in a restaurant, and just a restaurant that provides, a room to hold 50 people or 75 people. So as you grow, we've seen every year as we grow, we have to move the event somewhere else. So we were worried about the same thing. What if nobody shows up? What if we've done all this and there's just not enough people here? And it is nerve-wracking, but you see quickly how they start showing up. Sometimes you can do contests. So when you show up to the event, we're giving away, whatever it may be. So when you start giving contests that people want to come sign up for the giveaway or whatever it is, you have more, there's different things that we can do to, make you feel better about participation. And I think contest is one. And we learned at our first couple events that we just did the event that we didn't get people to sign in. We want their new phone number, their new email, and if they're buying, selling, or if they know anyone that's buying or selling. So every single one of our agents now have a clipboard, or we have a check-in desk where they get their wristband after they've signed in and they've given us all their updated information. So, and then we have also a clipboard that says conversations, because we realized the first couple that we had 10 conversations about people that I'm going to sell my mom's house. She just passed away, or whatever the situation may be. We had all those conversations, but we didn't make the notes. So we've learned as we've gone to make sure that why we're doing the event, that we're able to take all the information and follow through. We're not just there to talk and socialize, but we are there to create more opportunity. So client appreciation.
Okay, so what's the difference between Easter egg hunt and egging clients' houses? That sounds like something you get in trouble for.
So yeah, we don't egg their houses.
I remember in high school I got in trouble for that. So I'm not saying I ever did it or I never did it, but I'm just saying that it wasn't something that we encouraged.
Yeah, no, it's not raw eggs. We go with candy stuffed eggs. So 2 or 3 years we did where we egged their houses. So we put a big sign in the yard that we have made, and it says, "You've been egged by the Christy Buck team." And then we put 12 eggs in the front yard, candy stuffed eggs. And we put a note on the front door that says, "Happy Easter. Hope your kids enjoy finding the 12 hidden eggs in the front yard." And if, hashtag post us on Facebook for a drawing and to win something. So we've got, social media exposure, but usually you don't even have to ask them to do that. They're all so excited. Like, we've never seen a team like this. We bought our house 3 years ago. They're still leaving Easter eggs for our kids to find. So that's when we actually egg their houses. This past Easter, we did an Easter egg hunt in the park where we just invited all of them to come to the Easter egg hunt, because every agent does 25 of their past clients, but we get a little bit concerned that when it's on social media, when a neighbor drives through that also bought with us, if we didn't egg every single client, then we don't want anybody to feel like they get egged, but we didn't get egged, or, so we thought maybe a Easter egg hunt in the park. And again, we have a sign-in sheet. That's the top right picture. And we give them wristbands, and we just bring out, drinks and cookies, popcorn machine, and they all just kind of have a fun day. The kids play on the playground while they're waiting on us to, the start time for the Easter egg hunt. So those are both huge. Everything that we do, we have a great turnout. So we don't really worry about turnout anymore, but we had to get past that.
So Halloween's coming up. What's a booing event?
So right now every agent again picks 25 houses, and I don't know if it's in every state, but here a lot of the kids will boo each other, which means they leave a bag of candy at your front door, they ring the doorbell, and they run off. So we do it where we have a big sign in the front yard again that says you've been booed by the Christy Buck team. So every neighbor driving through the neighborhood sees that we're always out there doing something, and then there's a bag of candy on their front door, and the kids get a bag of candy, and you don't have to make it expensive. We'll do bags with filler stuff that's, a big bag of pretzels and popcorn balls, things that, we're not spending a ton of money, but we're doing our touches with our clients.
Yeah, I love that. And just sorry, go ahead.
When you look at how many agents we have at 25 each, we just ordered 300 and something signs. So that's a lot of touches in the community to have 350 or whatever it was signs in different front yards in the same 2 days.
What a great impact. And I can't imagine what the buzz is like during Halloween when people start getting booed. Do you get calls or just a lot of social media posts, or what does that look like?
Oh, yes, it does. I mean, we get phone calls, we get lots of social media. You have to be careful because some people don't celebrate Halloween. So we make sure it's people that we, feel like it would be comfortable with that. Egging is never a problem, but, I know Halloween can be questionable for some people.
Well, I want you to know I celebrate Halloween, and you're welcome to drop off a bag of candy at my front door.
Well, good. We'll make sure you get
come
one.
Come on by. Hey, everybody, we're starting to get some questions coming in on the message board. I want to encourage you that if you have questions for Christy, you just want to know more about something, you want greater detail, don't be afraid to type them in, and I'll do my best to make sure that we get to all the questions before the end of the webinar. So you just asked a question that I think is a great question, and it's on your list here, but let's get into it. What kind of events do you do that may not be related to any holiday at all?
Well, the client appreciation isn't. And then we're doing now a happy hour, just a top 50, where we're touching our top 50. And we rented a little wine garden area. And that's not really holiday related at all. We're just touching our top 50 by inviting them for a small social hour. And we're going to have a food truck there that they can purchase separately. A food truck, and then our team provides, whichever agent will provide the 2 drink tickets. And then those are still, I guess, holiday related. We do a lot of volunteering in the community. So we go through the food drive at Thanksgiving and Christmas, and just our team volunteers to pass out food and go through food and adopting families. So a lot of ours are holiday related, but our 2 client appreciations are not. And then we're going to do a skate night soon. That's just for nothing. I mean, not for anything other than bring your kids. One of my agents, her husband owns 2 skating rinks. So we'll do a skate night, and then we also are planning a movie night in the next year, in 2018. That's part of a movie night, and pick a family friendly movie. So some of them are just, staying in touch, and some of them are holiday related.
I love that. And you go over stuff like everybody knows what you're talking about. When you say you're doing a top 50 event, what is a top 50? Just explain that.
So top 50, every agent, when they come on our team or any, I guess, Workman Success team, we have what we were taught is you pick out your top 50 people, the top 50 people that you think you will get a referral from in a year that are highly likely to send you a referral. And that's your top 50, and you make more frequent touches. So if you can get 50 people that you can commit to giving you one referral a year, that's 50 additional transactions a year. And one thing I tell my team is, we are very loyal to certain people. We all get our hair done at the same place every 6 weeks, most ladies, every 6 weeks. And we're very loyal to that person all year long. And she has so many people sit in her seat all day long. And it's not, but they don't refer to us if we don't ask. So the people that you do constant business with should be part of your top 50. Can I rely on you, Lori, since you cut my hair every 6 weeks? Can I rely on you to give me one referral back this year? And at the end of that year, if that relationship doesn't go both ways, then we may look for somebody that is willing to be as loyal to us as we are them. So whether it's your dry cleaner place, your nail place, your hair place, we create the top 50 people that we expect to get a referral from or hope to. At the end of the year, if we didn't get a referral from those 50 people, after doing the higher touches, which is dropping pop buys off, staying in close communication with those people, then we take them off the list and we replace them with people that did send us referrals that year. So that's kind of like 50 deals that are just givens. You do have to work them, but it's your top 50 people you think you can get a referral from.
So, Christy, this is an example of a checklist for getting ready to do a client booing event. Describe the process that you go through in preparing your team and thinking it through and making sure you've dotted the I's and crossed the T's and nothing falls through the cracks. Kind of take us through this.
So every single thing
and what it is we're looking at. Good. You got to remember, most of the people on the call aren't clients and they don't go through some of the agile. So you have to explain it a little bit, and then why we do what we do and how you think the way you think.
Okay, so this is called Agile that we were introduced to by Workman Success. And if you're a team leader, it will drive you crazy. If you are their wonderful admin, they love it. So this is Samantha, and I love it because she has it all spelled out, but your strong admin is the one that puts all these things in place. For every single thing we do, we have a very detailed to-do list so that we're not flying by the seat of our pants hoping we remembered everything. And then it's an order of importance on the left-hand side. What's most important to the things that can be done last. And then it's also assigned to each person on the team that's responsible for that duty, so that one person doesn't feel like they have to figure out client booing and then the Santa event and the pie event. It's just too much. So we break down the list of all the activities that have to be done, who it's assigned to, and a timeline, and then the notes that have been done. Every single year, we don't have to reinvent the whole process. We just pull the Agile back out, and we are able to, again, just reboot the project and assign it to, if anybody's changed, whoever needs to do the project. So it's our wonderful to-do list.
So, Christy, do you get two things I want you to do. One is I'd like you to take me through actually some of the steps of what you're thinking as you're building an event like this. And then I want to talk a little bit about sponsors and who pays for all this. Okay,
so when we're it's very detailed all the way to pick dates and put on the calendar. Put the date. Every single thing that we have to do, order yard signs, order bags and goodies for bags. So all the detail from the day that we walk out the door with them, with the project, is written down and broken down so that it's a very seamless, smooth, organized system. And then what was the second question you asked me?
So are your buyer's agents involved in tasks? their job description isn't getting ready for the event? How do you involve everybody on the team so that nobody has a big load, because your admin team, your client care team is so busy doing transactional stuff? I mean, I'm just looking at all of the tasks on this list and who does what and how you get it all done.
So our support staff does most of it, but we do have agent participation, and they're all very happy to participate because of the culture we've built. They appreciate what we're doing, and for the most part, it's the agent has to come up with their list and the addresses, the things that we can't do, but we have that support to help them get all of these things done. So we keep it minimal on the agent side because we want them out showing and producing, but they do help us, and they're all happy to help after hours whenever they have time. We have 2 ex-teachers that they love this kind of stuff. So whoever's willing to help, but our support staff does most of it.
So let's talk about budgets.
Okay.
I mean, it's a big expense to take something like this on by yourself.
It is. So for the team leader, I don't pay for all of it. We divide it between the agents. So, but they're happy to do so. So they're paying, I think, around $100 for signs and $50 for the goodies that are going inside of the eggs or the bags. So it's usually a $150 project, and they get to reach 25 people. If they were to do pop buys for those 25 people, it would be just as expensive, so they're all happy to do it. But when we have bigger events like client appreciation or movie night or skate night, we have our vendors help participate and sponsor it, and they're happy to. So our inspectors, our photographers, home warranty companies, mortgage companies, and like most of them, it doesn't cost us a penny. We take the total cost. Like we passed out 500 or 600 pies last Thanksgiving, and it cost every single vendor that participated $400 or $500. Well, they don't mind doing that. They're getting referrals from us all year long, and we put on the pie or on whatever we're doing, sponsored by, Gateway Mortgage, Landmark Home Warranty. They all get, when I get on the microphone and thank everybody for coming and our sponsors, they get the recognition, and they usually come to the parties and they start back networking and mingling with their, the people that they serviced as well. So we keep the cost way down for the team leader, and sometimes at no charge. And the agents are, they're really happy to participate in being able to reach out to their clients again.
So you brought up Thanksgiving pies. Let's go to the next slide and kind of take us through the checklist and what Pie Day is all about and how that works and what you do with it. And you've been doing this for a while. It's been really interesting to watch this event grow.
Yeah, so every Thanksgiving we offer all of our past clients, future clients again, we give them 4 pies to pick from, and we go to Houston House of Pies because that's the big pie place in Houston. And
does that matter? Does it matter how good the pies are?
Probably not, but yes. When people know they're getting a pie from House of Pies, we get more participation because it's a popular place. And we take our 4 company cars, 5. It's usually 4 or 5. We have 7 company cars, but we take the 4 company cars. They're all wrapped cars, and we go into Houston, and the news is usually there. And we get pictures with all of our 500 pies with the owner of House of Pies, and we give our clients 4 to pick from that don't have to be refrigerated because they're not going to be refrigerated for the 2 days that we're passing them out. That's impossible. But we get sponsors for that as well. So we send out an e-vite and ask them which pie that they want. We start a Google spreadsheet on how many we're going to need of each pie. We break down the whole process as we have here. We create the invite, we go to the job form and divide them all up. We give a deadline 3 weeks prior to the event that they have to have their pie order in. The label that we put on the pie box thanks all of our sponsors so that our sponsors are getting marketing out of it. And then we call the House of Pies for our final order 1 week prior. And then we send the final reminder to our clients on Monday. We pass out Tuesday, Wednesday. We stay in the evening. We put tables out on our front porch, and every agent stays in the evening because they get to talk to their clients, as well as we have the clipboards to talk about people that create real estate conversations, because you're always going to have real estate conversations when you have 400 or 500 people coming and going. At that event, we pass out the invite for the December Pictures with Santa Shopping Day event, so that they actually get a handwritten, a copy, a hand-delivered invitation to the Santa event. So the pie's always a huge, huge deal. And we take pictures, with the agent and their client. We have a photographer here taking pictures of agent and the client, handing them their pies. And it's just, it's nice. You get 400 or 500 of your clients back in your office talking to you again. And the ones that we have left, it never fails. There's 20, 30 people that don't show up for their pies. They forgot they were leaving town before we were passing out. And we take those to the local businesses, the fire station, police station, and drop them off just with local businesses that we work with.
I love that. Bunch of questions coming in on this, Christy. So you talked about having vendors. If you have more than one vendor, multiple mortgage companies, do you let them all play, or do you only give it to one?
Absolutely. No, it's everybody can participate. So we'll put thank you Gateway Mortgage, thank you AMCAP Mortgage, and Merry Christmas from AMCAP Mortgage, Gateway Mortgage, Landmark Home Warranty, American Home Shield. I mean, it's whoever wants to, that is willing to participate. We thank all of them and put a sticker on it for everyone.
So Tim, what she's saying is she'll take money from everybody as long as they're a good A-level vendor, meaning that they really do a great job supporting her clients. And so I'll tell you how I feel about it. I feel like, there's a lot of companies, we affect a lot of businesses when we do a real estate transaction, and they don't have any investment usually in the client acquisition, and yet they get all the results of our transactions. And so to create events where they actually get to meet clients and they get to give back financially and they get to show up at the events and help with logistics gives them an opportunity to say thank you for the business we're sending them, and it gives them an opportunity to have more touches directly with our clients. And I haven't really found any partners that when you explain the program and this is what we're going to do, will say, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to get any business from it. I mean, that's the wrong partner.
Right. They're all happy to.
Okay. So when you started, Christy, we're talking about several events. I want to talk about the Santa event next, but when you first started, you didn't do this many events in a year. What would you say to someone who is a single agent, maybe they have an assistant and they're just starting to grow? If you had to pick an event, first of all, would you just pick one, or would you pick would you do them all?
I think we grew into it pretty quickly, but pick 2 a year and then add each year, but pick a spring and a fall event where you can, do 2 the first year, and then the next year add 2 more, until you're comfortable with first off, the support staff to help you pull it off. I think that's subjective kind of to how big your team is and what you're able to do, but I think definitely start with 2 a year.
Okay, so even if you're an individual agent, pick 2 events and get all your people. Use a virtual assistant company or somebody that can help you with invites and come up with some great marketing. I like to say that everybody is a team. It doesn't matter if you're an individual agent. You have mortgage company, title company, inspectors, photographers, and people that help you with your business grow. Get that group together and talk about what it looks like to put on a client event, and get them to get their input from not only a financial resources, but also a human resources, so that you can pull the event off and use your team. We're all teams. We just don't all call ourselves teams.
Exactly.
Okay. So Christy, talk to me about the Santa event?
So that started out small the first year. We had an 800 square foot office, and we did it at our office. So we rent a Santa. That year I just bought a Santa suit because I didn't want to spend the money to do a rent a Santa. So I just bought a suit and had a guy that could pull off Santa well, do our pictures with Santa, and we had a photographer. So that's all we did the first year was a photographer, and invited all the past clients to bring their kids for pictures with Santa. And we had a great Santa. It was a great backdrop. Everything was beautiful, and a professional photographer that could print out the photos on site. And then I bought the little frames that say Merry Christmas from the Christy Buck team. So that's going to be on their mantle every year. Not just a picture, but it reminds them that it's from the Christy Buck team. And then as it grew, the cost grew. And so we turned it into a shopping day and your picture with Santa. So we have Scentsy and Tupperware and Premier Jewelry and, all of the different people that sell the little home sale stuff. And we have them pay $40 to have their booth there for the shopping day and then the picture with Santa. So the $40 per booth, and we rent a hall now. It's a friend of mine, so it's affordable. But we take the money from all the shopping vendors to help pay for Santa, the photographer, and the hall. And the hall provides our cookies and juice. And we turned it into a shopping and pictures with Santa. And that's always a huge turnout too. I mean, people don't want to go to the mall and fight the crowds. So you have to have a good Santa. Out of our 4 years of doing Santa, 1 year we did not have a good Santa. And we had to, when we invited them the next year, we had to say, Santa was upgraded. It's a great Santa this year. Please come again.
Santa was upgraded. I want to know more about what a bad Santa does. I think they made a movie about that.
Yeah, he was not a good Santa. He was just wasn't a pretty Santa, he didn't look like Santa. So now
he didn't even look good.
He didn't look great. That was the whole issue. He just didn't look great, and he kept falling asleep. So, that's a problem.
we need to have a good Santa if we're going to have Santa at all. I'm just not okay with that.
Yeah, we had to go through a Santa interviewing process the next year.
Okay, what's your Christmas parade?
Our city does a Christmas parade. So any business in the town or some of the kids' Little League, different things you have to build a parade float to be in the parade. So we built a parade float. Last year it got rained out. The year before we did the parade float, and it was a house with Christy Buck for sale signs on it. It was really a cool parade float. And then we go, everybody meets at the high school or the church, and then they caravan all the way through the main street in the town, and you can pass out stuff to all the spectators on the side. So we pass out we have small stuff made that we can pass out. One year it was reindeer antlers, or pens, pencils, whatever. We make sure what we're passing out is marketing material. We also take a ton of candy because the kids on the sidelines just want candy, but we hand the parents our cards and, whatever we buy to pass out through the town. And then there's a contest, what place your float comes in. We haven't won because some of them are over the top floats. We're just not going to spend $10,000 on a float. So we have a great float, and it's great for what we're doing. But there's also the contest that the city has.
That's really fun. And I love the energy around that. But the bottom line is you do a lot of events. And if you were to say, here's our primary goal, what's the goal? What are you trying to accomplish by doing all this? It sounds like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but it's maintaining relationships and not letting your relationship end at the closing table, and not just being an email or a phone call, but we maintain those relationships in person all year long, and we get so many referrals and repeat business and just more conversations and more opportunity. So, and the expense is usually offset. So it's just very powerful when you can be in their face for no charge, but a lot of work preparing the events. So it's maintaining relationships.
I love that. I want to put this slide up as I ask you a couple more questions, but for a copy of today's presentation, as we've gone through all of this with Christy, just go to workmansuccess.com/client experience or text client experience to 44222. Either way, we'll get it there for you. And we're going to give you'll get a link to the download of the presentation. You'll also get Christy's Thanksgiving Pie Day checklist, the Easter egging checklist, and you can sign up for a free business consult and learn more about what it looks like to work with one of our Workman Success coaches. You're also welcome to go in and take your free disc assessments, and that'll all be provided to you in the link. Christy, creating amazing client experiences. Will you just talk a little bit about, as a team leader, how do you communicate to your team members their role in creating amazing experiences? And then how do you measure that it gets done?
So we keep.
That's a good question you didn't know I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm like, wow, throw me a curveball. I think maintaining the culture on our team and everybody really having the buy-in and understanding on why we go to the extent that we go to help them have all of these opportunities. So when you create the culture, they understand why we're doing what we're doing, and they're there to participate in all of it. And if they're not a good team fit, because this is a team and we do a lot of work to help them maintain their relationships for their future business. And you had another question. Well, what was your other question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so how do you make sure that they're actually doing it?
Because we inspect what we expect every day in our morning huddles with our daily success sheets, daily success habits. So we meet and collaborate every single morning and talk about what's upcoming, what we did the day before, and what we're doing that day, what we plan to do that day. So we stay very involved with each other in communication and expectations.
All right, so here's another curveball question. Do you spend more money looking for new business or keeping your database, giving you referrals and working on the relationships you have? I guess what I'm asking is I'm looking for the answer of what's more important, maintaining relationships beyond the sell or constantly looking for new people in the pipeline? What gives you
maintaining relationships. You already have their trust.
No doubt.
Yes, no doubt. I mean, we can all buy more leads, but if you nurture what's already there, that's free, that's already there, and they already know you and trust you and feel confident referring you, then that's free business and it's good referral business. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that answer. Good answer. I would have given that answer. Good answer. One last question from a client on the webinar, and that is, when you take a bunch of vendors and you're putting them on the pies or you're doing the booing with them, how do you list the vendors? Do you list them? I mean, do you have different levels of sponsorship where if they pay more, they get bigger exposure, and if they pay less, they're just made on a list? Do you list them alphabetically? I mean, how do you make it so that they feel like they're being equally treated?
You know, we don't have that problem with our vendors. They're just happy to help. They get so much business from us all year long that there's no order of importance. So like our pies, it's just one big sticker across the top of the pies that say thank you, and it says all of them. So they're just all listed. So we've never had one vendor feel like they're, I shortchanged or that they were second on the list, not first on the list. So they're all just so happy to help. And when you break down, a $3,000 event 6 or 7 ways, it's $400 or $500. It's just not that much money for them considering the amount of business. So they're just happy to stay in with us and be one of their preferred providers. We don't really have to split those hairs.
I love that. Everybody, once again, it's workmansuccess.com/client experience. Christy, final thought. If you could give somebody on the webinar today that's listened to the call about creating great client experiences, what's the one piece of advice you'd give an agent that is trying to figure all this stuff out. I mean, no, that's not a loaded question. I want you to just tell me, what kind of advice would you give people starting out?
Have a lead, amazing admin that can help you put it all in place, because as team leaders, it's overwhelming for us because it's all in our head, but we typically don't have the personality to write it all out and type it all out. So have your main person that can help you get through, and you can give all the ideas to, and they can run with it.
Awesome. Christy, you're amazing. Once again, thank you for being so willing to share and to give. For those of you that are on the call, some of you have typed in that you're having a hard time getting the text link to work. We'll make sure that's working. Make sure you write it down. Text client experience to the number 44222 or workmansuccess.com client experience. We'd love to work with you. If you're looking for help in your own business, reach out to us or click on the business consult, and you can talk to one of our business consultants, and we can help you become the next Christy Buck. Everybody, thanks for being here. And Christy, thank you again for being so giving.
Absolutely. Good luck.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.